Hello, I am Grubfist. Welcome back to my Avowed playthrough. Last time we progressed the story a bit. We talked to the Watcher. We recruited dwarf guy. I think his name is Marius. And I'm remembering that our first companion is Kai. I am remembering the names this time. We had a quest that I didn't want to forget, where we needed to hand a letter to someone who worked at a bathhouse, and I think the main quest was taking us to the same bathhouse. Something about a mermaid. Oh yeah, I still need to turn in that cabin quest. I took a few notes, which is why I keep looking down in this direction. That's where my notes are. I need to turn in my cabin quest, but right now I was going after a bounty. We still weren't ready for Octave, but there was another bounty like north of him somewhere, I think. And oh yeah, no, I was going to that bounty and I discovered another quest I was on. That's right, that's what happened. And yeah, also I got pretty loud sometimes in the last episode, so I've turned down the gain on my microphone a bit because, like, when I was going through assigning chapters, every now and again it was like, okay, I'm loud to the point this is hurting. Like, I was very afraid. I've got gain turned up a bit because I was very afraid that the game audio would overpower me. It did without any gain. When I tested it in another game. But it turns out I was too loud. Just by a little bit. So we turned it down just a bit. And I'll try and, not yell so much also. But let's continue. Shadowscarp is a wild desert on the southern coast of the Living Lands, home to the city of Thirdborn. Settlers in the region are mostly immigrants from Rawatai. Stubborn survivalists determined to eke out a living as a community. Okay. Rawatai is where Kai is from, I believe. It's like a nation of, Is it a nation of the, like, lizardy mans, or is it, like... It's definitely, like, they had, like, a big navy, and that was a big thing I remember reading. Alright. Alright, seems like it's finished loading. Let's, make sure ray tracing is off. Good. And is motion blur on? Like, I like head bobbing. Alright, yeah. Well, I think all the stuff that tends to lag us seems to be off, so we're still dealing with the occasional stutter, but it shouldn't be anything serious. Well, this is a lovely little camp with a really nice view. Holy shit.
If you look, you could see Fort Northreach from here.
Oh. Too soon.
Where? Was that Fort Northreach? My house is kind of pink. Is it that one, or maybe that one? Maybe that one? No, I don't know. That looks like it has a fort on it. I don't know. I think that's the one. I love that the music is fucking intense and they're all taking up positions to stare out too. Really adds to the cinematic moment out of nowhere. Like, just like, that's a cool little camp on the ledge, drew me over to it. Like, visually, this game is incredible. I feel like. Everything's so colorful, like, the world looks very interesting. Just walk in and read this person's journal before I talk to anyone. They seem distracted, so I can probably get away with it. Some volumes are warped and water-stained. Quick flip through its pages reveals it was diligently updated for 7 years. Its last entry is dated 2828, the year of Aothis' return. Oh! This is not one of their journals. 2821, season of missing birds. After 27 hours of difficult labor, I am the mother of a coral pink squall of a girl. I will call her Mata, after my... I hope I'm pronouncing that right. After my mother's sister was carried away from us on Amira's wings last season, may she have something of her spirit as well as her name. 2823, okay, so 2-ish years later. Inaro presented Mata with the fishing pole, the harpoon, and the basket this morning. How anxious I was that she should choose the harpoon and spend the hot seasons away at sea, or the fishing pole and be fettered always to the town, or the basket and spend her life climbing trees. The sweet Mata turned her back on all of them and crawled into her father's lap. She will be as her father is then, a healer. Stay always near to me. Last night Mata told her first story. It was a tale of a mighty... Okay, so the kid is 2, the kid is 5. Alright. It was a tale of a mighty war parrot who fought fearlessly in many battles against the terrible Naga. Though he was a great warrior, he'd always wanted to explore the islands, so when his mother wasn't looking, he flew to the top of Serpent's Crown in Nekataka. He saw all the way to Hasango. The sky went on forever. He became scared of the heights and called for help, and his mother, the queen of the war parrots, came to rescue him. From then on, he was happy to remain a warrior. Great Aunt Mata once told me a similar tale. When I was a foolish young girl determined to climb the tallest kawiki tree in the village. Perhaps there is something of my old aunt's soul in my daughter after all. That's interesting. That you would want something like that in a world like this. You and I might think it might get too weird, but I guess it's comforting, you know? Alright, child is 7-ish. A dread storm cloud sits heavy on the horizon, and small tremors shake the land. My girl is not disturbed. Tonight she leads the children in a performance of... Oh, how do I pronounce that? Ngati's Kraken dance was taught to us by the young women from Mahe Island. We made her bracelets and anklets from shells we collected on the beach together, and she wove her skirt herself as we near the season of her birth. I remember how, when I first quickened, I told Inaro I was afraid. It is strange to look upon this tiny mind now and think I may have never known her. How strange is life of mine, how generous the gods. Okay, well, interesting.
If you traveled weeks to see him, you can wait a few more days.
Kara, you would not be so glib if your family's souls were crying out to you for justice.
Some crusty old priest isn't going to change that.
So it is her journal. Or the journal of someone with the same name.
The Temple of Aothis is closed. Ugh, I don't know why everyone in the Living Land suddenly wants to see the old kook in there, but it's not happening. Not today, anyway. Probably not tomorrow, either. Not with the way they're dawdling.
Since when do you make the rules?
Since I arrived with the big sword.
So you say I need a bigger sword. The Oracle has one. Let me in and I will borrow it.
I'm saying you need to go home, because the goddamn temple is closed.
Here at Ofryc's request, you got an expedition in trouble. This is,
The
why
boy
I'm
made
here
it
after
back
all.
to the embassy. I half expected him to kick off on the way there.
He was badly injured and grieving his brother's wounds. I say it is good news.
Sure, until the Inquisitor hears he abandoned his men to go crying for his mum.
Her hair is remarkably well maintained. Ooh, what Inquisitor? Is this Inquisitor Ludwine?
Inquisitor
Yep.
Ludwig. You haven't had the pleasure?
Not yet.
She's the ambassador's hunting dog, or he's her lapdog. Well, there's something animal about her anyway. She leads the Steel Garrote. They're the enforcers around here. Eyes and ears everywhere. You understand? Yeda, the expedition leader, told me it was the Inquisitor who tipped her off to this place. I guess Ludwig had squeezed the information out of some rebels she was interrogating.
I see.
A lot of that going around lately.
The old godlike who maintains the temple is supposed to have some kind of relic belonging to Aethys.
I guess
And
it's a
given
big
the Steel
sword.
Garrote's particular allegiances, yeah. Okay, I see the through line. I gotta say, I'm surprised there's still a temple to Aethys standing after the Saints' War. But there's no accounting for taste.
Are you going to let me pass or what?
You will let him go and not me? I see.
Who said I was letting him go?
Let's just say be reasonable, Sequin.
Well, my orders say no one.
Hekara, yes. Tell the envoy about your precious orders. I could recite them in my sleep.
Don't make me bring this back to Ambassador Hilgard.
Right. Sorry, envoy.
I have
The expedition
authority.
team entered through the cave just past here. They planned for a day's journey, but they've been gone for more than 3. Something must have held them up. Ofryc mentioned traps and earthquakes and...
The oracle who maintains the temple is a godlike of Aethys, so there is no telling what he is capable of.
Okay.
They were carrying a lot of tools and weapons with them, so be on your guard. And envoy, thanks. I know Ofryc will appreciate you looking into this.
I will nod solemnly and leave. There we go. We're very proper. I like that when you look at our character, it's like, holy shit. Like, people, he looks so weird. Like, he looks so out of the ordinary, you would instantly have a reaction. Like, you would have to stop yourself from being like, what the hell? Like, because he's someone with like actually a lot of authority in this empire, right? And like, so you gotta hold your tongue. And I think that's kind of funny. Okay, zone transition. Vast island home to wild ecosystems and undiscovered mysteries. Settlers from across Aora come in search of fortune, adventure, and prosperity. Global powers view living lands as the gateway to the east, a ripe prospect for future expansion. Okay, so it's sort of like the New World. Understood, understood. Oh, why am I so itchy today? Oh yeah, we took some points in the lightning spell, which was fucking cool. I electrocuted so many spiders last time. Oh, it's one of those things. Oh, hold on. Oh, everything on my body is tickly. What is going on? All right, so we got some glowy shit. The electric lily. I love these things, dude. They're so pretty.
That
So
spear looks
colorful.
endearing, all right. Guess we're on the right track. Didn't even have time to finish their puzzle. Whatever they were looking for, it wasn't just treasure.
Essence generators are mechanical devices that can be activated with shock damage. Versus why? Is that why you're giving me electric lily seeds? What do they do? Yes, they are grenades of the electrical variety. I kind of thought it was just like a food ingredient. I didn't realize. Is this the thing that needs lightning?
Eon Seek!
Oh, I see. That one's already activated. But not this one.
Seek!
Go.
Well, that's fucking rude. Hello? He looks like he's supposed to get up and ambush me, but he's kind of being given away by a health bar. Or converses, huh?
Who woke up the sleeping skeleton?
Oh, okay. That simplifies things.
Now we know why the expedition team abandoned that puzzle. Nothing like a win with a good team.
Vessel bone, huh? Alright, we know we can break stuff down now, so. Book of Verses. Eadnung, the bright star, spoke, and her voice was like a clarion cry, calling his soul forth. He knew her for the right hand of the shining god, and was afraid. "O wanderer, hear me," she spoke. "You are known to us, and your deeds put you far from salvation." And he wept, for he knew that his sins lay bare before this great illumination. Then Sargamus spoke. His voice swept forth with the heat and force of the bright day's sun. "Weep not, the child of light has forgiven. His forgiveness even for you, if you will embrace him." Harmcade knelt before them, then resolved to save himself, as he must do. And Motigun spoke. Her voice was like the songbird's final hymn, bidding farewell to the day's light. "What darkness lies within you, you must cast into his light. Your sins will be burned from you until you are newly formed, reborn into his keeping." So spoke Motigund, but Eadnung warned him, saying, "You have walked all these years into darkness, and must now return. You will find the path like treading fire. At every step you will be tempted to turn away, but no harm will come to you if you keep your faith." Right hand of the shining god. Eadnung, known to us, far from salvation. Weep not, child of light, is forgiveness even for you. Alright, so anything, we want to try and remember anything important here. Book of Verses was added to the journal. Good. We can reference it. We get stuck. Someone left their spear behind. That's no good. That's really pretty.
Gods. Never seen anything like it.
Views like this remind
What the
me
fuck
why
is
I
that?
came to the living lands in the first place.
Something stirs here.
Oh god, not you. See, those are very cool, pretty buildings, although presumably it wasn't flooded before, or there was a way to get around the water easily. They're kind of up on an awkward position on the rock. I don't know. It doesn't look like a very good walkable city. But what really concerns me is like that shit. Someone lived there? How they get in and out? What the shit? You got like houses hanging on the undersides of the fucking rocks? Like what the hell? That would be so unsettling. Okay, well. If I jump off here, will I die? It looks like water, and theoretically I could swim, but I don't see any way back up, and it's like, it's a big drop, man.
Tripwire's broken. I bet Ofryc's people came through here.
That's a good reminder to pay the fuck attention for tripwires.
Look at that. That statue. How did anyone build that all the way down here?
Well, presumably with the scaffolding.
And no one knew that was down here.
Rituals, whispers of searing light.
This is like so cool and pretty. Love their level designers. Ooh.
Zarps ahead. Just going around them. We can fight if you're feeling itchy.
I am feeling itchy. Interesting choice of words.
Seek.
That's all of them.
Yeah, those guys were pushovers. So we could jump up along that. Okay, but there's no need to jump across those. Because we have fought our way through the Zarps. Am I understanding right?
Right behind you.
Cow!
Nice!
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, I see. So we can suddenly go into the Zarp path from halfway across. Or get an easy way back. That was not a sturdy wall. Whatever's over there is real fucking colorful. Crater elements, huh? Carload, I can find no more use for my talents in our pitiless land, so I must go. The water freezes, I create art from it. The water melts, my art dissolves. The water freezes again. The cycle once brought me peace. I looked upon my work and was comforted by its impermanence, and in the impermanence of all things I took comfort in Rimmergon's promise of the end. But even the ice carver is not impervious to the cold, and the new wind that blows from the north, from Okaizo, from the cracks in the in-between, chills me to my bones. There's something wrong in the world, Loda, and not even your bright smile can set this cycle to rights. I head to the living lands. The vitality that fled my art is gathering there. Condensing. Now a new chill rises in the land. A great conflict is coming, and our master will need his harbingers at his side. If Vednir returns, tell to him to come, but my love, I beg you do not follow us. To serve our God most faithfully, I must believe you're still alive. Lexi. Now what is this? More of greater realm. Oh, we already had one. Okay, fireball. Oh yeah, I need a higher level to cast any of it. Fireball, blizzard, crackling bolt. I feel like I'm gonna like crackling bolt, man. Bristling frost. Surrounded by a protective frost. Would that make it like any water I walk on, maybe? This is a very cold-focused one, but it's got fireball. And that shock bolt. And I'm very interested in both of those, even though I'm not super into frost stuff. Also, frost stuff is useful, mostly for the freeze the water, you know? Oh god! I like stuttered right as I jumped and I was like, did I make it? Ow! Fuck! Stop! Fuck! Okay. E, that's our guy. Okay, so
Hold it together, kid. We're nearly there.
I said to watch out for the water. It got the Zarovs. Where's this fucking thing shooting me, man? Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. All areas can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable. Not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. Interesting! Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft. Excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so multiply the fruits of your knowledge. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station, fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. What the fuck is that thing that's like broken there? It's like a lantern? Electric lantern?
You're not my brother.
I'm not your brother. But I am sent by your brother, so calm down. What are these things? God, I love the potions aesthetically. Hello.
I got to be dreaming. Oh gods, am I dead? Is this the Beyond Spirit? Have you come to take me to Galloway's side?
The kid's in bad shape, but he's not too far gone. I think we can help him.
I'm not ready. I've never even touched a girl. It's not fair.
Oh my god. Shut up a sec. Alright, let's give him a healing potion. Get him back on his feet here.
Oh God, that's wretched. Are you sure you're not trying to kill me?
That's wretched? Those things aren't
Calm
delicious?
yourself.
Look at the
The
color!
wound's already closing.
See?
How
You'll
is
be
it
back
not
on your feet
amazing?
in no time.
Oh wow, I feel leagues
I feel like it
better.
would have a very fruity
I thought for
taste.
sure you were
The
coming to
color
take me
like
back
that.
to the wheel. Who are you? What you doing down here?
Ofryc sent us after you. Where's the rest of your team?
He actually made it? I wasn't sure he'd come through. And he sent the Emperor's fucking envoy. Damn. Am I ever glad to meet you?
Focus. The Free Expedition Score. Where are they?
Right. Those assholes. They went on without me after I got hurt.
Alright.
We'll come back for you once we've got the relic, Admin. Honest. Horse shit. Yeda was probably hoping I'd croak so she wouldn't have to tell Ofryc how she abandoned me. All she cares about is that Oracle and his relic, which is probably just a big old dog bone if you ask me. It's probably still down there, fiddling with the statue. You must have seen it on your way in.
It's interesting that he has this attitude, because honestly, leaving a wounded guy behind in an area filled with traps and stuff makes sense, as long as you've set him up alright. And he's not, like, on death's door, but it does sound like he might have been in a situation where someone needed to be caring for him, since we had to give him a health potion. So he probably needed an attendant that they didn't give him, which would partially explain that attitude, but also that guy probably gave off a strong vibe of I only care about the prize in all their interactions previously if he's so quick to dismiss them like that, I think. Tell me about Gera.
Our captain, she's... I don't know. I don't want to talk out of turn.
Again, you mean?
Relax. You're not the first person to have a bad commander.
It's not like that. I mean, it didn't used to be. Yeda's not been quite herself lately. I've always known her to be cautious, careful. Now she charges forward recklessly.
I see.
And she pushes us as hard as she pushes herself. And that's how I got hurt.
Has she been short-tempered? Distracted?
Something
Yeah.
might be affecting her.
When we make camp, she has these terrible dreams. Wakes us all up with her screaming and muttering.
I see.
Can't be sure, but it sounds like the dream scourge to me, Envoy.
Yeah. Voice! Voice, is this your doing? Trying to call out to her? Alright, anything I need to know about the Oracle?
I doubt I know much more than you do. I mean, you're godlike, just like him.
Come on, kid. Don't get starstruck now.
Well, he's touched by Aethys, right? And he's supposed to be old, like hundreds of years old.
Okay.
And I don't mean elf old, he's extra old, like Aethys has been keeping him alive or something.
Okay.
Great. He's old. Anything else?
They used to receive pilgrims, but only the ones who could make it in. This place, it's like a trial.
Yeah, we've seen the same traps and crumbling buildings you have.
And he's building something. A statue of Aethys, I think. But I don't know what for.
Man,
I mean,
it seems
after
like
what
everything
did in
Aethys
the
did.
Deadfire, people don't come here anymore.
It seems like everything the Aethys is involved in is fucked. Alright, well, I'm gonna go speak with the Oracle.
He'll be the last one to have seen him, I bet. I'll just rest up here a minute before I head back to Paradise.
Take it easy. No sense getting yourself into another scrape.
Promise, I'll take it slow.
Yeah, well, we killed the Zareps in this way,
Hey,
but
envoy.
he's gotta be careful with the water.
I really thought I was gonna die down
It's still
here.
a real threat. See if I can parody it. There's no reason to tell him this. See if I can parody Skademan.
Right, yeah. We got those assholes to save and everything. I hope they're better off than I was.
That's good of him. Okay, so we've got additional treasure and, more importantly, book over there.
Seems like a good kid. Glad we could give him a hand.
This is very
One of the
missable if
honest
you're not
girls
paying
will, too.
attention.
He's gonna have a hard time getting out of here, but at least we gave him a fighting chance.
So, the kid said the expedition team went deeper, looking for the Oracle.
I imagine the Oracle has something to do with that creepy statue we saw before. Maybe we should take a look.
Yeah, Aethys looking to conquer this shit too. Alright. What was with that dude? Alright, book. The living lands do not exist. Interesting opening statement. Interesting opening statement. Certainly there is an island. Certainly there are valleys. There are rivers, lakes, and mountains. There are trees and fungi in abundance. Taken together, do these not constitute the living lands? I will concede that they constitute the description of a continent. That this continent lies north of the equator, and that this continent is equidistant from Adir and Rawatai. I will concede that this continent is real, so long as you and I walk upon it. We call this island the Living Lands, but the Living Lands is merely a descriptor of its attributes. A list of attributes does not, alone, make up a place. I believe that for a place to become real, it must have a name. For a name to be real, it must have a history. History confers meaning, and meaning is given to a name by its namer. The Living Lands cannot be this island's name because I have traveled its breadth, climbed its peaks, and delved its countless depths, and I have discovered that the Living Lands has no namer at all. Unless the words we use to describe this continent, the Living Lands, were given to us by the godless. Unless these words have a meaning only they could comprehend. Unless these words have a history only they could know. And Hayasiati, the thisness of this place, was lost with them. Alright, well, that sure is very philosophical of you, Mr. Bookrider Man. Beetle shell, pellets, softwood branch. Damn. It's kind of disappointing for a chest like that. There are boxes to break. Okay. This is a terrible idea and I'm going to quick save. But can I break this shit? Okay, no. They are, in fact, tougher than that. Did Kai follow me through here and Marius didn't? Marius, like, keep an eye out or what? Did I just not see him? He is a sneaky fella. Oh, there he is.
Right behind you.
Pow!
Remind me not to spook you.
Huh.
I was just
I really
getting
thought there was
warmed
another one. I really thought that electrocution would be a little more impactful. Turnip! Oh, neat. You know, I probably should have heard that, like, singing of that chest, but I just was just like, what was up on that perch that guy had? Oh, hell yeah! We were getting low on those. They are the good fast healing. Common Great Axe. Captain Yeda, the relic you seek is but one of the many thorns in the rotten heart of this land. Claim it for Adir, and should its efficacy be confirmed, you will be appropriately rewarded. Inquisitor Ludwig. The many thorns.
Ludwig's after this relic. We might be on the right track.
That's interesting, because thorns is what the Watcher talked about. Speak to the Oracle of Aethos is optional. That's interesting.
Someone's up ahead. Keep your eyes open.
What's that path?
My brother. Can it be?
Oh god.
Come, stand in the light.
Wow.
Let me look at you.
Interesting. He looks... He's got the elf ears. Is he just an elf that is, like, glowing with the light of Aethos or whatever? He's certainly a unique character.
I had feared I was the last of us.
Oh, right.
But
He's a godlike, which
the
means
very sight of you is a
he will
balm
look
for the soul.
weird.
I am the Oracle
Like I do.
Sargeras, servant of the once shining god.
The once shining
He
god.
whose light has lately dimmed.
Yeah, well, maybe if you stopped blasting
What
it at
brings
people,
you
they
to
would
this
stop
sacred
dimming it.
space?
Alright, so first, look at this. God of Rebirth, Redemption, Dawn, Spring, Light. Yeah, this definitely looks like someone touched by the God of Light, doesn't it? Armored by the name of Wadewind, claimed to be a vessel of Aethos on a rampage across the Eastern Reach. Aethos was destroyed. Later rose again in Deadfire Archipelago. What happened to him there is a matter of speculation. God, my glasses. Alright, I'm looking for an expedition of my countrymen. Did they pass this way?
An expedition? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Right. Maps, ropes, pitons, rugged boots, water for days, people down here looking for stuff.
I am familiar with the concept, tomb raiding and the like. What troubles me is why they would come here. These ruins are not so different from the many others on this island, except that they are a good deal more treacherous. And this representation of Aethys we stand before, it is the work of my own hands. They could not hope to move it. Do you know what their purpose is here?
Not exactly. Yeah, how could you not have seen them? I don't know. I don't know if I like this. This Aethys doesn't have a good reputation, so and this guy seems very devout. So I'm not sure if this guy's got ulterior motives here. Let's just let's question him a little. You really expect me to believe you haven't seen them? There's only one way through this place.
It's a reasonable question, I'll grant you.
Okay.
You must understand, this place has seen so few visitors for so long that I often retreat into my private quarters. To read, you understand, or pray, or sleep.
Alright, yeah, that's reasonable.
Age has made me slow. I tire easily. I sleep now more hours than I wake.
Huh.
They could have already come and gone, and I would be none the wiser. In any case, you haven't told me what it was they searched for. Or do you not know?
We were searching for a relic you're rumored to keep here.
Ah, the splinter of Aethys.
I see.
I suppose it was too much to hope they were here to examine these exquisite ruins. Truly, it is their loss.
Sure. What is this relic, anyways?
The splinter of Aethys is a sliver of shin bone from my lord's titan body. It was carved from his skeleton many centuries ago. Yet long after the gods left this mortal world to claim their dominion in the beyond, the splinter is infused with the very essence of my lord's power. To illuminate without fire, to heal without injury, and to speak without voice.
Where do you keep the relic? Because that's where they will be intending to go.
It rests in a shrine deep within this temple complex, beyond the reach of looters, visitors, or indeed myself. The path to the relic has fallen to ruin. Some sections are flooded, and others are infested with all manner of creatures.
Okay.
Although, perhaps you might assist me with that.
Perhaps I might.
Here it comes.
You see, this construction beside us is no mere statue, but a reliquary I have built to house the splinter of Aethys in its appropriate grandeur. It is nearly complete, and ready for the splinter to be interred. But I can no longer reach the relic on my own. Return it to me, and who knows, perhaps you will meet your expedition along the way.
I'm gonna poke around here first.
Take all the time you need. Oh, and please refrain from touching my statue or devices.
Yeah.
May light illuminate your path, brother.
I don't know if I can promise that, because what I'm wondering is, given what we know of Aethys, is this a statue or is this a fucking golem? It looks like it's just kind of made with whatever he's found on hand, but why are these devices plugged up to it? What do these fucking do? Because we've seen that these sort of devices seem to be powered by electricity. If we plug this in, is this thing gonna get up and start moving? He is gone, but he is still with me. What form should a reliquary take that is fit to hold the splinter? Were I in high crown still, I would petition the church for ivory, gems, and gold, for this remnant of his holy body is worth all the wealth of the empire and more. Being as I am sequestered here, I will make do instead with the wealth of the land. Granite from the tallest peaks, clay from the fertile riverbeds, trunks from the most aged trees. I must work without ceasing until it is done. The memory of my lord cannot endure delay. It's beginning to take shape. I thought at first a sanctuary would be appropriate, a temple within this temple of the godless. When I prayed over my plans for the building's construction, I received a vision of Aethys' Titan as it had existed in its time. A body of strange flesh and bone, hundreds of feet tall, astride the land with the Pantheon at his side, facing down the forces of chaos like 11 colossal ships of the line. What crisis manifested them and inspired them to act? I know not, but I shall remake him as he was, in my own fashion. He is complete, but the statue I have made is inert, lifeless, dull. The work of my hands does not dignify the splinter. There is something deficient in it and in me. I must destroy it and begin again. He is made anew, his effigies formed from granite, clay, and wood still, but they shelter now a precious Adra core. It glimmers even in the low light of this cavern's ceaseless evenings. He brings the dawn to this penumbral place, as the light of his attention once brought to my soul. In the Empire, they celebrate spring dawn today, or they would have, prior to the Saints' War. I wonder, what of him remains in the beyond after his dissolution at Ukaizo? I long to be with him again. What if I did not have to wonder? Oh my god, he is trying to remake his god. He's not even trying to make like a titan to conquer in the name of his god. He's trying to actually remake his god. Isn't he? This is definitely a lot more than a simple fucking reliquary. Yeah.
Leave those be. They protect my devices.
He only seems to be able to source rotten lumber, and the contemptible stuff cannot withstand the damp of this cavern. I must find someone who can fell and hew fresh trees, or my fragile generators will be at the mercy of the Zarups. The little bastards are remarkably curious. Okay, so there is a way back up there. I hear singing! Purple. I guess that was the spirit residue glowing. Ah! His quarters, huh? What are we to make of the absence of the Engwithans from the living lands? I think often of the hundreds of years I spent in the Eastern Reach. In all of my time there, never once were the ruins of Engwith out of my sight. A trio of their standing stones loomed from the peak of a nearby hill through my bedroom window, and the long shadows of their machines fell every day over my church. The roads we trod were their roads, and the walls that divided up our lands were their walls. Their temples became our markets. Our fields were littered with their tools. No mountain, nor river, nor forest could stop their building, and with their technology they mastered the world. The Engwithans laid the foundation of Aora. We, the living, are merely the skin atop their bones, but they never made it to the living lands. How can that be so? I guess that implies the living lands was pulled up out of the earth somehow, or protected in some way. However, these These things must be Engwithan technology or whatever, right? They seem to have had electricity. Now, before we just start electrocuting his fucking shit, I would like to confront him. I would like to talk to him. I don't know if that'll do anything, because he might... He seems like he might be a crazy man. It has been some time since your last correspondence. I do hope that you are still well. The materials and spare equipment from my lab proven reliable. You know how temperamental and finicky old equipment gets. I swear, these machines have souls of their own. But I digress. I look forward to hearing the latest news about your progress. I have no doubt the completion of your project will change the world. And knowing you, it will certainly be for the better. That I have had a part to play in this fills me with a deep joy and satisfaction. Perhaps one day they shall write about us. I can see it now, the Oracle and the Visionary. A titillating tale of two thinkers and their thoroughly thought-provoking theories. On second thought, perhaps simply the Oracle and the Visionary will suffice. Eagerly awaiting your response, your friend Vitor. Yes, it was good that I forgot to send this after it dried. Ulrask would be very cross with me if I did not relay once more that he is, and I quote, rather looking forward to giving Sargamus's oversized animet a proper thrashing if he ever gets it functional. I think we have an overwhelming amount of evidence that proves this man intends for that statue to get up and fuck shit up at this point. So why don't we talk to this man?
I am glad to see you again.
Are you?
To what do I owe the pleasure of your return, brother?
And yourself after one of the early figures in Aethasian scripture.
Then Sargamus spoke, and his voice swept forth with the heat and force of the bright day's sun. Weep not, for the child of light has forgiveness even for you, if you will embrace him.
Okay, so that was from that journal you read.
I am that same Sargamus. Though it has been some time since a man has knelt before me and begged absolution, as Hamka did.
Okay.
The people do not hold to the gods
You are the
any
same
longer,
one.
and they do not hold to their servants. We live in a time of disbelief. The gods are absent, and have recalled their gifts from the world. Avarice reigns. Acquisition is the faith to which all men bow.
Remember,
But
very old.
perhaps there is hope. You have read the Book of Verses, and we are here together, if only briefly. In this moment, we are not entirely alone.
Did you build this statue?
Indeed. It has been my obsession these last few years. Hewn by my own hands from stone in Ardra, and no small degree of melancholy. I suspect it will be my last great labor before this body is returned to the earth, and I am returned to my god.
Why a statue?
And not a library, a clinic, something that might bring a greater good into this benighted world. I leave such projects to the children of Helia, Margarin, even Wow in their way. No, a statue is what my lord deserves. A graven image for a remorseless god. Cold as winter light, distant as the tallest peaks of the White March. Fit only for he who stares at history and does not blink.
Hylia is the goddess of the sky. Legrand is the goddess of war, fire, transformation, purification. Veil is the god of secrets, revelations, illusions, cryptography, obfuscation. Okay. I hear there was a temple of Aethys in this cave.
Be welcome, for you have found it.
Seems so.
People like you and I once sought this place in moments of spiritual turmoil, when the world and our souls could not find rest. Moments of war, famine, massacres, when those such as us are called upon to speak the gods' wills and to lead.
Interesting.
But I have seen not one of us these last 3 years, and it is rare indeed that pilgrims come to pray. Perhaps our meeting now is the work of immortal hands. I pray that it is so.
Why would godlikes visit this temple and not the temples of their patron god?
Godlike. Such a meager word for us, who are the gods' eyes and ears and hearts. We are the phenomena through which the gods experience the world. We are as like the gods as a finger is like a man. You and I and our raptured brethren, we are the gods themselves.
That's all
Quite a
very
theory.
poetic, but it doesn't answer the question. Is this place special to godlikes?
It had been once, when we were legion, but no longer. Our kind came here to find fellowship and understanding, in a world determined to bend us to its purposes.
Why should we need fellowship?
Consider a child of Rimagond. Yoked to the Ofryc's will, they are born already in decay. They are divine lepers, revered and reviled both.
Okay.
Their burdens are immeasurable, but they have been touched by the divine, so their gifts are as well.
Okay.
Only those like us can truly understand that balance, its agonies and its ecstasies.
Okay, so there's an aspect of being a godlike that is so foreign to the typical man that it is hard to relate. I get it. God of entropy, cold winter, bad luck, famine, natural disasters. Okay. I was told you are exceptionally old.
What an impertinent question! Indeed, my soul has dwelled in this form for centuries, beyond even the lifespan of the longest-lived elf. My lord
Assin, man.
inspired my birth in the same year the kingdom of Adir was founded.
Interesting.
You might say my birth heralded the empire you now serve.
You might. Must have witnessed some unbelievable things.
Many, yes. Some that inspired awe, others dread. For a time, I proselytized among the colonists who first settled Eir Glanfath. I held the door of my parish church against an onslaught of Glanfathan raiders, and I watched them fall prostrate before my light.
Really now?
I tended the wounded in the Broken Stone War, the War of Black Trees, the War of Defiance, and in many wars that were never given the dignity of a name, and since have been forgotten. I can hardly recall them anymore.
This man really wants me... This man really wants me to think he is a frail old man, nearing death. But I think he is in fact quite powerful. And quite sinister. You ever meet Saint Wedwin?
Is that what they're calling him now? I heard the man that was Widewin speak when he was but a farmer. He had a presence even then, furious, incandescent, It was astonishing, his power. I wonder, had my lord already made a home in his body by then? Did my lord share with Widewind his plans to wage a pointless, bloody war while wearing the poor man's face? What a grave injustice. To have your body stolen and be made into a saint. Tragic Widewind. Pitiable Widewind. I grieve for what became of him.
That's a fair point of view. That was over 600 years ago.
About 630, yes. Give or take a decade. One does lose count.
That's a long time in the Deerwood. What made you stay?
The Deerwood has been a troubled place since the very moment of its inception. Conflicts erupted as regularly as spring flowers, to bloom and die as swiftly. So, there is always some dark corner in need of light, if you'll indulge me in the metaphor. Truthfully, I had been jailed for proselytizing in Colklin, and it was to the colonies I was exiled. So it was the Deerwood or death. I had nowhere else to go.
So why haven't you died yet?
That is a question for my lord. I have asked him many times, but even when he spoke to me, he would not say. I suspect it is his essence that has kept me alive. And now that he has abandoned this world...
You are but a poor, frail man dying.
I soon expect to die.
I soon expect you to die too. Aethys talked to you.
In prayer, in dreams, as I ate and loved and labored, his voice was a constant murmuring in my ear.
Sounds annoying and
But
familiar.
when I spoke to him, he never did reply. So, do not mistake his talking for a conversation. He only wanted to be heard.
I see. You almost sound resentful, which is interesting for someone trying to literally rebuild him. Are you afraid to die?
Not anymore.
That's good. That's good.
Be my guest.
You're really a godlike.
I am as you are, though I do not care for the word. Aethys the Dawn Treader is my lord and patron. If you will forgive me saying so, I am surprised to meet you here.
Yes, well, apparently I've
Even
already
before
asked
the
at least one
vanishing of our
impertinent
kind.
question.
It had been some years since a child of Galawain came to speak with me.
Galawain, huh?
And I have never seen a member of the Lord of the Hunt's coterie whose visage resembles yours.
It's interesting. He's an ancient man, so it's interesting that this is who he thinks goes the god of the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Fur-clad hunter, flanked by hunting dogs, giant cats, or other animal companions. Those who call upon Galawain favor the survival of the strong and the killing of the weak. Now, why does he think Galawain? Is it because the fungus is kind of like natural world, so he's like, that must be what it is. But I'm not a godlike of Galawain.
Ah, of course. I should not have assumed.
Well, you're a knowledgeable fellow.
I have had the great privilege to speak with thousands of our kind during my long life. And you do not resemble a single one of them.
Interesting.
But if not Galawain, I cannot imagine who else among the Pantheon might have blessed you.
So someone outside the Pantheon. My parents took me to every temple in High Crown, but none of the gods claimed me.
It was good of them to do that for you. Whether they are exposed on the cliffside or drowned in the bath, many of us have not known such kindness. May I ask, as a god's child, did your earthly parents love you?
Now, we had a pretty good upbringing, it seems, like, with the Highborn Scion. So we'll go with I believe they cared for me in their way.
Even many kith untouched by gods are not so lucky.
Indeed. Why did the gods vanish godlikes from the world?
There are many theories, which
Okay,
the
so you
holy
don't
and
know.
learned of Aora have only just begun to argue. But you did not ask me for theories.
No.
Frankly, I do not know for certain. However, I believe the gods are preparing for war.
Interesting. Interesting. See, now, as much as I feel like I'm going to end up killing this man, he's also very old and very knowledgeable and has seen a lot and has a wealth of experience, so he is a good man to ask questions to and discuss theories with. Now, a war against us, like Aothos, or a war against each other? Let's say a war against Kith.
A war of all against all.
Oh.
A struggle between destiny and design. Who yokes the soul of the world? Whose machinations turn the wheel? Who acts and whom is acted upon? That is the ultimate power, brother. The only power there is.
So he means to
decide
tip the scales.
fate of another, and to make it so.
Interesting.
For so long as we have lived, it is the gods who have decided for us. But change is possible, if we are brave enough to want it. And Kith have lately grown very brave indeed.
I've been hearing a voice in my head since I arrived on this island. Could it be my god?
I suppose it's not impossible, but the gods typically make themselves known to us in our earliest days, before we have left the comfort of the womb. They are present in our hearts and minds before we even have a notion of I at all. I am sorry. Yours is an unusual case.
Even for you. Good
Tell
to
me,
know.
this voice in your head, do you want it to be your god?
Oh, fuck no, dude. But I don't know what else it could be. That's true enough. If it's not my god, I don't know what else it could be.
Other than a symptom of madness, you mean? You do not seem especially troubled. No more than any kith subject to life's uncertainties. As to what the voice is, if it is unlikely to be a god, I cannot say.
Do I think it's
It
my
may
god?
be a
Yeah.
particularly powerful
Do I
soul
want it to be my
attempting
god?
control
No.
you, or the echoes of a past life. Perhaps it is the sending of an archmage, or some ancient construct of Engwithin make. Or it may just be the beginnings of the dream scourge. Whatever this voice is, I suspect only an expert in souls can say.
Hey, it was worth asking you.
Of course. Explore to your heart's content. But please refrain from touching my statue or devices. Go in peace. I will be here if you return.
Now here's the thing. Do I fuck with this statue immediately? I don't dislike this man, but his actions are definitely very suspicious. His intent with the statue is definitely not good. I think we fuck with it now.
Sick. Beyond sick.
Ow. Give me some foods. Okay, so it looks like this is its own puzzle. There's more than one of these.
Careful, please.
Beyond sick.
Don't damage my statue.
And now he's mad. That ain't no fucking statue, buddy, and I understand that.
Silmas mito.
Ow, fuck. Oof. So the first one he forgives. He's just like, no, 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 don't touch, don't touch. But then he realizes what we're up to on the second one.
Beyond sick. 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 Then raw. Beyond sick.
Guess that's done.
Hear us. Follow us. We would speak to you.
Nice work.
Unique weapons are highly coveted. Each has its own story, and each is enhanced with powerful primary and secondary enchantments. These weapons will all provide some combination of passive effects, stat increases, elemental damage, distinct behaviors, and even more. Explore the living lands, complete side quests, find the unique weapon best suits your playstyle. Unique weapons can have their primary enchantment further improved or augmented at the enchanting station. Augmenting a unique enchantment replaces the original enchantment, is permanent, and requires a variety of specific enchanting materials to perform. Weapons armor can be upgraded up to 3 times within their base quality tier. After that, they can be upgraded across quality tiers with the use of additional resources. Upgrading a unique item across quality tiers requires use of Adra and its variants. Adra can be found in areas of high challenge or derived from breaking down your other lesser used unique items. As you progress, upgrading your unique weapons and armor will be crucial to your combat effectiveness. So, we got our sword. Killing an enemy restores 3% of your maximum health. Hit steal 10% bonus fire damage. We got the good old-fashioned fire sword. Now, where is generator number 3? Oh, this man's abomination. we've made our decision. Let's save. Where is this? Ah!
Seek.
What is burned cannot prosper. Wings to free us, gone to waste.
Oh, you didn't like that! Interesting. Interesting! You'd really fucking love a big ol' evil statue, wouldn't you, voice? Oh, it's an elevator. Herald of Dawnshore. Okay, so it's just a way out of here. Maybe you fuckers were less cryptic with me. I would be less willing to blow up your shit.
Roots clogging up this tunnel. Almost like they're reaching for something.
You wanted to
I see
steal...
light. I think we can...
You wanted to steal his fucking golem. Didn't you, voice? You were really fucking hoping for that, weren't you? Yelhezua, Yezua, Lu Yedes, Regada, Megalia, blah 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 blah. Don't know what the hell that's saying. Anything else down here? Quite a lot down here, actually. So that's the way to go. Then maybe I want to explore up here first. Oh, I love that it casts light, dude. That's really cool. I see you back there, explodey wall.
Seek.
What did that do? Open the gate? Yeah, that opened the gate. Right, well, this is clearly the way to go. Is there anything else down here I may have missed? There's the clay tablet. Can't really get behind that. This is where he came from. Ah! Notes on Godless language translation. Stamped tome collects the Oracle's wide-ranging and often contradictory thoughts on the origin and translation of the Godless' written language. The musings range across the page at odd angles, at times carefully considered, at others dashed off, improvisational, inspired. Arrows loop around the pages to stab at phrases. Dates are encircled and underlined with such ferocity the parchment tears. Given the book's length and density, it would appear the Oracle labored over the mysteries of the Godless for several years before ultimately turning his attention elsewhere. Small sample reads, the Godless wrote, that much is clear, but their tablets are, nevertheless, maddeningly rare. What few I find in the ruins appear to have been crushed, and their rooms would look as though they were intended to house great libraries, are left utterly bare, and when I do find something of interest, it's fairly intact. Godless Kennedy's lands centuries ago. Some degradation in their tablets is to be expected, such as the nature of hand-shaped and fired clay. But they couldn't have been in the living lands for more than 2,000 years. I feel a mind at work here. Someone, or several someones, must have sought their writing out and destroyed it, which makes the possibility of translating their script only appear even more remote. Structures of their sentences shift wildly across decades, or else I understand even less of their grammar than I thought. But my God, tell me, what inspires a culture to suddenly shift from subject-object-verb to subject-verb-object, or to case their nouns, and then, as if by fiat to not? I feel that at least a shadow of an answer must lie in the one complete tablet in my possession, and in a word that appears in nearly every fragment I find. Enwitan. Okay, so I can't pull out the fire sword underwater, which is to be expected, but because that would just gameplay-wise would be very weird. Enwitan, there it is. Is Enwitan the name of this voice? Is that your name, voice? I think you may be something that simply tries to dominate any who come here, aren't you? Fucking parasite. Perhaps a god. But should I care about that? Okay, yeah, I get that there's an equipment upgrade available. You don't need to keep telling me, it's fine. I'm not gonna suddenly leave this area and go make a camp, just because that's a possibility. At least not without encountering a significant difficulty I can't overcome. Writing in this tome is dense and spidery, and it advances across the page at a sprint, as if its author's pen had been enchanted with a spell for celerity. Whatever muse and sorcelled it will never be revealed, however, for the book's fragile pages swiftly disintegrate in your hands. Oh no, it's gone. True stories from the living lands. Ooh. You sing to me. Great Western Stag, nothing is lost. Animals of the park ruin. Ooh, another one up there, huh? Only the hardiest of explorers would dare take the long, dangerous trek to the living lands. While there is no denying its beauty, the diversity of plant life alone is an herbologist's stream. The inherent risk in blithely trekking through these pristine hills is more than most should undertake. Let me take a moment to tell you about the land itself. Rolling hills, greenery, and sun. The whole area feels like a succession of hills and valleys, each with its own ecosystem. While that declaration is a tad extreme, it can almost be said to be true. The combination of sun, geographical location, proximity to fresh water, valley depth, and the existence of hot springs have given the living lands a wide breadth of flora and fauna. Walk down a hillside into a valley and you will find lush, verdant hills. Climb the next rise and you might see nothing but rock and boiling mineral springs. And the creatures, in my travels I've seen it all, and this place never ceases to amaze me. Trolls! I'll never forget my encounter with the trolls of the living lands. I had just narrowly avoided being consumed by a giant plant. More on that later. I was running as fast as I could to get away from it. I broke the crest of the hill, and the valley below was wide, green, wet, and covered with low, thick-branched trees. Vines grew everywhere. Between the trees, across the tops of them, down to the ground. It has a mess of vine green. Cautiously, I worked my way down towards the basin. Keep an eye out for anything suspicious. It's a good thing I did so. I noticed not all the trees appeared to be trees. I froze, dropping to the ground in an effort to minimize my appearance. One of the trees moved, lumbering slowly away from the cluster. Suddenly I realized it was a troll, stepping out from among the group of trees it had been resting against. With a few more steps, I would have walked right into their home. The camouflage these trolls exhibited far exceeded any I had ever seen before. I hope to return again in the future and observe them more. Insects. While I've never seen them, I have read reports of giant insects in the living lands. Centipedes, flies, mosquitoes, hornets, all 10 times the size you would see them elsewhere. Imagine making camp. You've just gotten everything set up. There's a nice fire going next to your shelter. Something is gently simmering in the cooking pot. You sit down, finally feeling like you can relax after a trying day. You feel a tickling at your feet, insistent and prolonged. Reaching down to brush whatever it is away, your hand comes in contact with something hard, long, and flexible, winding its way around your boot. You look down to see a centipede the size of your arm, casually making its way over your feet. Toward the far side of the camp. That's a lot bigger than 10 times. You would get out of that camp, wouldn't you? That's exactly what my friend did when he realized he had started his fire over a centipede nest. Plants. Unless you forget, do not let your guard down around the plants. I discovered a wonderful collection of giant flowers. They were bright pink and grew in a circle around a central stalk. What an aroma! I like the words to describe how delectable it was. Sweet, fruity, light with just a hint of something tangy. Looking closer, I saw some berries growing on the stalk in the center of the flowers. Well, I just had to have them. I started pushing my way through the flowers, and the vines growing around the base of the plant began to twitch, and the blooms turned towards me. It was at that moment I saw the blooms weren't actually flowers, but hinged jaws. I had been fooled by its camouflage. I quickly retreated, pushing my way back out. Just in time, the bloom slammed shut. If I had still been standing there trying in vain to reach the berries, I wouldn't be writing this book today. In the ruins of Ukaizo, the great city of the ancient Huana and the Deadfire, I once found a curious inscription. The inscription was written in 3 languages and arranged in a circle around a small pool of water. 2 of the languages were unknown to me. The first of these scripts was largely runic, rounded and orderly. It looked like it was meant to be painted rather than chiseled into stone. It put me to mind of the architecture of Engwith, with frequent arches and odd conjunctions of angles. The other language branched off one long stem. This one was curious. At first, I thought I was meant to read it left to right. The character shapes didn't have a flow that felt intentional. It wasn't until I tilted my head that I understood I was attempting to read it on its side. That I was instead meant to read it from top to bottom, and likely right to left. Fascinating. I've seen nothing like it in all Aora. The third of the scripts I recognized. It was Near Ancient Huana, a language I'd studied idly in my youth. I'd been obsessed with its more logographic predecessor, Far Ancient Huana, for many years. What a pleasure at last to see something I knew. After a few hours of meditation, I recall enough of the alphabet to take a stab at a transcription. Kawingaro o Waturi Te Katwa Negro Kaizo something other language. Wingaro o Waturi, King of Ukaizo, the King of Kings. It has the cadence of a dedication. Could this last inscription be the key to deciphering the 2 other known languages? Okay. That would be a good thing to do if all 3 of them say the same thing. The Great Western Stag. One day Aothus was sitting on a wall, watching a cat play in the sun. A crystal, hung in a nearby tree, had fragmented a sunbeam and scattered small motes of light on the ground. They danced around the cat, sliding over him as he frantically batted at them. He spun in place, following one as it rushed past him, and leaped on it, trying to pin it down. Aothus smiled, amused at the animal's tenacity. The cat landed on a spot, placing his paws over it, only to watch it flit away again. Aothus watched the cat's tail twitch and slap at the ground, annoyed that his prey could not be pinned. "Why must you tease him?" a voice said from behind him, accompanied by the crunch of sandals on gravel. "I merely bring the dawn," Aothus responded. "I don't stoke the hunter's heart. That's your responsibility, isn't it?" "True," said a second voice. but neither do you quell it. If the hunter could not see his prey, would he still hunt? So philosophical, Hylia, Aethys said, and turned to greet the two gods that approached him. Have you come to debate the parallel between sight and desire? He gestured to the wall, inviting Hylia and Galloway to join him. They sat in silence, watching the cat who continued to hunt the sun, fruitlessly swatting at another mote and then rolling onto his back. I have created the ultimate prey, Aethys said finally, breaking the silence. It can be tracked, it can be followed, it can be seen, but it can never be caught. Galloway laughed lightly. You don't agree, Galloway? Aethys asked. While it's true that your creation is elusive, it hardly can be considered the ultimate prey, because it never can be caught. Paused, his brow furrowed in thought. If that mode of light had substance, the hunter could subdue it. Otherwise, it's merely a dream, truly a fruitless endeavor. All creatures spend their lives chasing fruitless endeavors, said Hylia. It is the way of mortality. Galloway laughed again. I could create a creature, a living creature of flesh and blood that could never be caught. I make your dream a reality. Now it was Aethys' turn to laugh. You propose turning a fruitless dream into a fruitless reality. How is this any better? A life spent in the pursuit of an attainable goal far exceeds any other, but you just said no one could catch this creature. This is not attainable. Galloway smiled. Humanity has surprised us before. Indeed, it could surprise us again. I will create a great white stag, and I will set it free in the world. It will have grace, resilience, and tenacity. It will exist solely to be pursued for all its days, and it will never be caught. It will serve to inspire the hunt for generations to come. All those who wish for glory will invoke my name. All those who hear its story will ask for my blessing in finding it. Hylia shook her head and threw Galloway a bemused look. I do not believe this is possible. So I, too, make an offer. To the person who catches this stag, and they will catch the stag, I will bestow upon them its grace, resilience, and tenacity. Thrice blessed they will be. They will ask for my blessing on the hunt so they can obtain my boon. Galloway and Hylia took up arguing whose name would be invoked more when the hunt was on. Aethys sighed, a small smile playing at the edges of his mouth. He stood and looked to the sky. The sun had already started to hide itself behind the mountains. The cat, long ago tired of stalking the moats, had fallen asleep beneath the tree. He turned and looked at the other gods, deep in debate, and sighed again. I merely bring the dawn, he repeated as he made his way down the path. It's up to you to see what I reveal. Interesting. Excerpted from the collected Journals of Wanamora Wave Chaser. Ranga's men came to collect my portion of prize share this morning, and I had nothing to tell them again. I make no money for the tribe, though I am always in my little ferry boat, Grey Gull, carving through the waves. At night I get no sleep. Waitaro asked me to conserve the lamp oil to come to bed, but I can't, not until I find it. I know it's out there, the lost city of Ukaizo. On every chart and map of the Deadfire I've found, whether Huana, Valian, or Rauatayan, there is a gap, an empty space, where so much of our history should be. Did it burn to ash and cinders in the cataclysm? Did it sink below the waves? Does Ngati clutch it to her breast at the bottom of the sea? Perhaps it's lost and wandering, like me, unmoored, looking for a home it can't remember, but for which some insistent longing burns in its chest, an ember always smoldering, a little fire to push it on. Waitaro wants me to give it up, but how can I? On mornings when the sky is so clear, I can hardly catch my breath for the beauty of it. I think I see it out there, shimmering in the brightening blue light. Is it a taunt or a beckoning? Would I be able to tell the difference? I asked the fisher folk when they return with their catch at sunset. Tabir, I say, did you see anything? Or you, my boy? How about you, Puira? They avoid me now. Waitaro says they're busy, but I know they think I'm tide-sick and sun-addled. The way Puira's lip curls in disgust when I approach, the way Tabir's eyes seem to see right through me, I know. They won't have to suffer me much longer, because tomorrow I'm taking Grey Gull and sailing north. Someone has to chase the old tales, so I will. This is a big library with a lot of fucking lore. I'll have to make sure to make this a whole, segment of video. It was in the time of Edgerhill the Sure-Footed that we came to Cleob and Relog, an ancient place of the Builders, as the locals call them. It was a marvelous sight, a door in the mountain framed by a pair of ghoulish aspects. Through some exercise of trickery or cunning, Edgerhill was able to gain access for our scholars that we might observe and record what lay inside. We discovered a foundry of sorts, like of which neither we nor our distant brethren had seen. Through careful observation, we surmised that the ancients had used this place to extract souls and transfer them to suits of armor. Delicate and challenging work, yet the scale they had achieved left us humbled and astounded. Perhaps the most remarkable were the golems, living suits of armor powered by essence. We lost 2 of our fellows when the creatures caught us unawares, but once we'd subdued them, they proved quite fascinating. All too aware that our hosts would never again allow us, nor other curious travelers, to visit this place, we took meticulous notes and measurements of all we saw, forsaking bread and sleep until the work was done. We reported all to Edgerhill, whereupon he praised our work and urged us quickly forward. For if such a place lay abandoned in the forest, who can say what other mysteries gods and kith have left in this strange and wild land? I wonder if that's what inspired him to make his fucking statue. Alright, that's where we came from. Oh, another book. Several more books. We got some spiders to blow up real fast, though.
Seek. Earth and rock.
We make
Very
a
good.
squad.
Right, back to the books. On the Fireforged path, the travels of Gyar Hultan. Rick is well worn, smells faintly of mildew. Its spine is cracked. As you thumb through the book's pages, it falls open to a folio more ragged and dog-eared than the others. Though I was born and raised a Magranite, and a Magranite now I will stay. As a young man, I undertook a pilgrimage to visit a holy house dedicated to every god. In so doing, I hoped to know them each the better, to take what they had to teach and sow it into my soul like so many seeds, that my soul might grow and bear only the most delectable fruit for my goddess to devour at the moment of my death. So it is with no small amount of amusement that I pen this account of my visit once to a church of Whale, the many-eyed, many-tongued god of dreams and secrets, revelations and mysteries, and revealed to you all I learned there. The challenge came first in finding adherents to Whale's doctrine, for they are not often ones to announce their presence, preferring instead to build their flock from the solitary seekers who delve through ancient ruins and ruined archives in search of the strange, the bizarre, the forgotten. But persistence is my goddess's first teaching, and find them I did. The Waylights' Nekatikan congregation was small then, as it likely remains now, and on the morning I stumbled upon them, they were lounging like so many cats in the sun on the steps above Quinn's berth, sharing between them a bottle of Ofryc and pipes packed with white leaf and ripple sponge. I knew them for Waylights not for any badge or robe or trinket they wore, not for their race or age, but for the ardor of their debate on the most benign of topics. I begged they take me to their church and permit me to worship with them, and they laughed as one, their many voices like the howlings of wild dogs. They acquiesced when I told them of my quest, and then invited me to sit and share their drink. I did, and as their act burned a trail of fire down my throat, they showed me the dimensions of their hall of worship. Stairs were their pews, they said. The blue sky their ceiling, and their walls and edges of the world. Their walls the edges of the world. All of creation sits within its bounds. This morning neared midday, they stood as one and began to climb the mountain. Where do you go now? I asked. To worship? He replied, a great wave of relief. To worship, they replied. A great wave of relief washed over me, for at last I would have my lesson from them. We climbed the many steps of Nekataka and arrived at last in the sacred stair. Where is your temple? I asked. In response, they whooped like children, rushing past me in a squall of smoke and laughter. I followed as best as I could, though I wet my good slippers in a stream and could hardly keep my feet on the moss-slick stones, and we surged soggy-footed and hollering into the temple of Gaon. To worship, they cried. We shoved past dawn stars bent in praise of their macabre god, laughing all the while, came to stand before a leafless tree whose boughs were hung in lanterns too numerous to count. I had nary a moment to catch my breath before the Waylights were clambering into the great tree's branches. A young man pulled me up with one hand and handed me a pipe with the other. Priests of Gaon screeched and wailed, and all the while we squawked like birds, our smiles wide and eyes alight with arak and lantern fire. The Mataru came soon after to chase us away, but not before we'd done our share of singing to the many-eyed, many-tongued god of dreams. Would that I could have stayed with them a while longer, but alas, I could not deny my soulless journey, nor the whispers of my goddess in my ear. I took again to the road in search of churches, but I must admit, ever after, I longed always after for that tree. Quite an experience, left quite an impression, it would seem. Collected Annals of Lengrath. Whoever copied this work appears to have been in a great hurry, as if they feared being caught. The gods strip us of who we are on every turn about the wheel, mercilessly shaving off all we've learned with their divine lathes. We retain the pale shadows of our souls, but knowledge, memory, self, all of it is cut away. For the gods fear we might someday rival their strength if they do not. The trees of Air Glenfath possess souls as strong as any kith, and their entangled roots extend for miles. But dig beneath any of them, follow those routes, and you'll see they don't end, but lead to a neighbor. There are many souls sharing one body. Why shouldn't willing kith be able to do the same? Terrifying! A limb may be grafted from one tree to the trunk of another, and in time they'll bear sweeter fruit together than either might have alone. Mightn't it be possible then to graft a scion soul to the rootstock of a willing kith? Souls wouldn't fracture but coalesce. They'd grow stronger together. Gods see fractured souls, but they don't care for them. Damaged, broken people are abandoned by their makers to twist in the wind, given no succor, no relief. Would an intentionally fractured soul be similarly inconsequential to them? I will use their apathy against them. I will make their disdain serve me. A grafted soul is obscured from the sight of the gods. It spreads freely like a blood fever, but doesn't kill its host. No, I will be a fever of the spirit. Invisible, unstoppable, eternal. Fucked up! Interesting. I wonder if we will encounter something like that in here. Life and Discoveries of Pangram. Mention the name Pangram to anyone with even a passing knowledge of animancy, and you could find yourself in for a very long discussion. Publicly reviled but privately lauded as a hero and genius, Pangram's history is at turns revolutionary, horrific, and mysterious. Pangram was fascinated, some might say obsessed, with the concept of animancy. It consumed his life as he dedicated everything to understand it. He would frequently travel to Ir Glanfath and the Deerwood to visit the Engwithan ruins. There he would take notes and make sketches, bringing anything back with him that he could to help him unlock the mysteries. After years of study, Pangram had reached a point where he could no longer conduct research on his own, and he took on an assistant, Helig of Thayan. Soon Helig was making trips to Ir Glanfath in Pangram's stead, gathering knowledge while Pangram stayed behind to experiment. This partnership quickly bore fruit, and Pangram made a breakthrough, one that would irrevocably change his life and the general attitude about animancy forever. While the specifics of his experimentation would never truly be known, the rumors and stories that still circulate tell that he had sent out inquiries asking for live subjects for help with a dangerous experiment that might change their life, or might end it. Those who were already dying were especially encouraged to apply. Response was overwhelming, and Pangram had his pick of numerous willing bodies. That is when he had his breakthrough. He discovered a way to fix a soul, anchoring it to its body so it couldn't leave at death. He had discovered eternal life. His research and life's work had resulted in the greatest single discovery that animancy could hope for. His findings were published and quickly spread through Valia and beyond. While some groups, the Vatican Church for example, decried his work as nothing more than blasphemy and heresy, many put it to practice. Everyone wanted the chance at immortality. But everything comes with a cost. It quickly became apparent that simply restraining the soul while keeping the person technically alive was doing nothing for the body, which continued to decay, devolving and warping the soul now trapped inside it. The creatures it created were dangerous. Carnivorous beasts that killed brutally and indiscriminately. The backlash was ruthless. The practice of Pangram's discoveries was outlawed. His works were collected and burned. He and Helig were branded heretics and hunted, chased from town to town until Pangram simply vanished. Helig was tracked down, captured, and brought to trial for the atrocities committed against Valia and its people. Trial was barely more than a formality to bring charges against him, as everyone knew what hand he had played in the disaster. He was sent to prison for years, but eventually released once public outrage died down. Not long after his parole, he disappeared as well. Occasionally, talk surfaces that a copy of Pangram's theorems has been found, untouched by the purging flames that destroyed its brothers. These rumors seldom end up being more than that. Many groups and wealthy individuals have formed, sending out a call to anyone who will listen, find us a copy of the theorems. They offer gold, jewels, status, anything they can to entice adventurers to help them achieve their goals. For there are those who would give anything a chance at immortality, even become a monster. Interesting. And what is this? Statue schematic. The drawing details plans for the creation of a large statue powered by essence. The essence is intended to be injected into the statue by an array of animantic devices. Where such a vast store of essence might come from and what a statue could do with it is unclear. The Euthasian prayer, and the sun shall break through the darkness, the new dawn arriving with the rebirth of the day. Rejoice all ye who dwelleth in the shadow, who are broken and beaten. Winter soon comes to an end. Spring shall rise, bringing light and life to the world. Radiant light, radiant life, and thy soul shall find warmth in his arms. All creatures bask in his glory. The rays of his countenance bathe the world, bringing an end to the night, ushering in the day. Kneel before him and wonder at his benevolence. Feel the warmth of his radiant presence. If thou art broken, he shall make thee whole. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee to the light. If thou art sinful, thou shalt be reborn. If thou art cold, his warmth shall bolster thee. How canst thou, so lowly and worn, speak words of proper adulation? Thine eyes, whose gaze sees the sin in me, yet still shows love. Thine hands, whose grip pulls me out of darkness. Thine ears, listening to my every prayer. Thine heart, bright as the dawn, giving me warmth when I am raw. Aothas, light of spring, sun of the world, thou givest me life and purpose. If thine heart be black, if thine intention be impure, thy life is forfeit. For he hath seen, he can see, he will see. Nothing is hidden from his glory. His light touches every corner of the world. Nothing is hidden from his sight. Unless it's in a cave, I guess. If thou doest thy work in the darkness, if thou wouldest keep thine actions hidden, thou shalt be burned in the sun of the new dawn. Day comes soon, prepare for the dawn, nothing is hidden from his reach. Oh, one more book. The Deerwood, Part 5, The Proliferation of Animancy. Animancy, outlawed while under Aedir rule, was technically no longer taboo after Hadrit's rebellion. Academics began its study again in earnest in 2681 AI. By 2697 AI, 16 years later, there were almost 40 academics actively researching the field, both in the Deerwood and the Valine Republics, even though no significant results had been discovered. A tragic breakthrough of sorts happened in 2704 AI. Animancer working in Bale Reach accidentally shattered the souls of about a dozen volunteers who had been helping him. In retaliation for the deaths, the citizens of the area stormed his house and killed him. The Earl of the region, not wanting to waste resources or anger the locals any more than they already were, did nothing to find the head of the vigilante mob, but neither did he outlaw animancy. To ensure their own safety, most animancers moved from the rural areas where they were studying and settled in Defiance Bay, many of them choosing the emerging and wealthy district of Brackenbury as their new home of operations. While there were still a few breakthroughs and the study of animancy continued for the next 24 years, it quickly slowed as it became cost prohibitive and complicated the more people learned about it. Most animancers couldn't afford to continue research without the support of donations or gifts from wealthy individuals and organizations. In 2737 AI, some animancers, desperate to continue their studies and seeing no other means of furthering their research, entered the forbidden ruins of Aer Glanfath to further their research. They discovered some such sites had strange artifacts that seemed to bear affinity to soul essence and began to prod at the devices for further insight. Even with continued research, they are unable to tell quite what they have discovered. Eventually, they were found out by the Glanfathans, who captured some of them, demanding they be punished for their crimes. The Deerwooden authorities, in order to maintain their treaties and keep the peace, had no choice. They allowed the animancers to be executed according to Glanfathan tradition. This led the Duke to make an additional proclamation. The study and practice of animancy on or even near the sacred Glanfathan sites would be punishable by death. 2780 AI, in order to solidify relations again with the Glanfathans, the Deerwooden government allowed some animancers to begin training and experiments in conjunction with the Glanfathan mind hunters, their native ciphers. This was an exchange of information. The animancers documented the secrets of the mind hunters' powers. Mind hunters learned new techniques for concentration, which assisted them in taking their powers to a level no Glanfathan had seen before. The ciphers, no longer wary of the animancers' intentions, trusted them to such a level that they convinced the Glanfathans to give some animancers limited access to some of the training sites where the Glanfathans practiced. The animfaths of the Glanfathan tribes opened the training grounds to the animancers. They were not allowed inside, as this was still strictly forbidden, but the general allowances by the Glanfathans were seen as a breakthrough in relations between the Deerwood and Aer Glanfath. Over the next 8 years, the Animancer's research would continue unimpeded. With the exception of some minor squabbles, there has been no major strife between the two groups for almost 120 years since. I need to write down what year we're in. Like, I need to see the thing. Oh, what's this?
Here it comes. Aye, aye.
Why can we burn these? Interesting. Alright, we done with books? Got all the books here? We got some Audra there. Man, this is quite a library, isn't it? I think we're done with the books. Although...
Coming in hot.
Then raw.
Ready, aim. Stand back. Ready, aim.
Ooh. I can just hit it with my sword. That's a lot simpler. Fire sword. Yeah. I like you, fire sword. I like you a lot.
Six years in Dawnshore, and I never knew something this big was under our feet the whole time.
I hoped that in coming to this place, standing before the splinter, turning my mind to prayer, that I would feel something. I would experience the solace the other godlike speak of, the state that they call grace. My dreams remain as silent as this eerie godless tomb, and I am ashamed to feel so lonesome and bereft. To truly love the gods is to be faithful to the void, is what the oracle tells me. If I look outside of myself to the here and now, for that which I desire, that I will always remain unsatisfied. I must go down into myself, into the still, wide emptiness, to discover that I already have everything I need. The many voices of wail I wish would whisper in my ear, even had I heard them, they would not be evidence of their love. That evidence persists already in my soul, in the void to which I have not been true, and it has from the moment they plucked my soul from the wheel and gave it unto my body to be born. It is the chime. The chime is the evidence of their love, and if it is all that I ever have of them, then I should fall to my knees in gratitude, for it is more than most kith will get. But to know this solace that I seek, then I must give up any desire for their love and learn to love the void. What is making that noise? Oh, hello.
Here we go.
Then.
I electrocuted myself. Ow. Oh, hello.
Look to your left.
Or did he electrocute me?
Back in the fight.
gods, what are we dealing with here?
Thorns beside violets, essence twisted out of shape.
Looks like it collapsed on them.
Seek.
I see a lot of places around here. I don't know how any of them could be reachable. It's like I'd have to launch myself forward at speed, you know? Almost like Skyrim's whirlwind sprint.
A pulse beating out of time. Should it be disturbed?
In the leaving of his precious body, we commemorate our most glorious God with all his saints. Let us commend ourselves and one another and our whole life to Aothas the Dawn Treader. For this holy house and for those who enter it with faith, reverence, and the fear of our God, we consecrate this temple in his name. Aothas, have mercy on our souls. I've got to try. Yeah. Yep. It's not gonna work, is it? We're missing something, and that something may be found further ahead. Perhaps. Might be once we come back out of here. These areas will stand out to us.
If it weren't for
Something we
the
can
creepy
do.
oracle and the invading roots, this place would be kinda nice.
Well, good thing we dealt with the Oracle then, huh? He had a pretty sick sword. Now, if only we could deal with the invading roots.
Good eye.
Now, what did that do? It looked like it flipped one switch. I think blue might mean the switch is flipped. Is that what's going on? 'Cause it looks like it flipped one switch. So if one was there, then the other must be on the other side, right? Down here. Get over, Kai, I want to blow that up. Stop standing next to it. Come on. Here we go.
There's the relic. It can't be as easy as just grabbing it, can it?
No, I don't
Right.
imagine
I
it
haven't
can.
been in a lot of ancient ruins, but you don't have to be an expert tomb robber to think this is probably a trap.
Seek.
Let's see if that opens.
Now the interesting thing is, whatever, what that opens appears to go behind this. So if that's a trap, there may be some. Okay, so yeah, blue does mean active. So if that's a trap, then there might be some way to disarm that trap behind it. No? No, it's just the loot room? No way back there, huh? This might be a fuck it, spring the trap, see what happens kind of scenario.
Unseen, unheard.
Well, perhaps unheard if you didn't say that. Yeah, no, it's not that simple. Well, let's see what happens.
A false item. It waits.
Something's moving in the main chamber. We'd better get moving too.
There it is.
Coming from your right.
Sorry. Oh, hello. Immune to bleeding and poison, I think is what that's saying. Did you eat your little friends? Is that what happened? Alright, we gotta get some regen going on. Boop. Boop. Yeah! Get wrecked! That was sick! Shit, I think I cast it without the book. Yeah, now I'm really feeling like a battle wizard, man. Stabbing with my flaming sword while electrocuting big groups of enemies.
Who's ready for more? That ought to be all of them, right? Another win, but who's counting?
That was sick, dude. That was a fun boss fight. And we gotta level up. Dude, they're all just dropping grenades and shit. Still no way to get in there from that. Alright, so the door is barred.
You take lead.
Is there a way to unbar the door? By doing something through these holes in the wall? Okay, so knocking that down. Whoops. Knocking it down is a no-go. Right, well, I'd better level up if nothing else. Optional. Continue searching for the Adirian expedition. I do want to find them. Okay, so Tab. Tab, I believe, is our guy. Character. Okay, we really should put a point in Constitution, I think. We don't like to take hits, but we are in the fray enough, I think. We can put a point in the Constitution. Alright, wizard shit, wizard shit, wizard shit, wizard shit. We need Grimoire Mastery. Duration increase. I can't always cast all of it anyways. Bounce power attacks with wands. Don't care. Power attacks with wands. Don't care. This is all wand shit. Okay, we've already got. We only have 1 point. I don't know why I'm looking at more. Okay. So breakdown. I can stash that one in camp since I've already put stuff into it. Alright, that's not the Spellblade one. there any purpose to these? Yeah, sell at any vendor. Boom. So there's just a sell. Good. Very simple. Where's that story about the guy climbing the tree covered in lanterns? Think that maybe that's relevant? Or like getting in there? Kind of doubt it. All right, well, I think that's all we're gonna find in here. I could keep running in circles around here, missing whatever I'm missing, or what I'm missing is somewhere else. And at the end of the day, it don't matter too much.
The way out must have flooded during that earthquake.
Oh,
Busted ruins.
Well, better a flood than a cave-in.
interesting, which means different areas are now more accessible. Yeah.
See.
I am the destroyer of boxes. Common plate armor, look at that. What are the downsides of wearing plate armor? Minus 50 max stamina and essence. 30% damage reduction and then a hard 4 damage reduction. Doesn't that look cool? Although, this flooding have affected other things further back from where I was. Looks like it might have just blocked it off. But I'll be honest, I don't fucking remember where exactly I came from. Alright, this was on my left when I came in, though. This was definitely on my left when I came in. So where I came from is almost certainly blocked off. Sure, I can pull off all those sick jumps, but the moment I have to fucking run in a straight line, or make a turn, I guess. Alright. I liked how when the rocks started falling and one of them landed on one of the skeletons I was fighting. It's just like, get fucked. Metal brace. Plus 10% ability cast speed. Honestly, that might be more useful to me than the unique gloves. Casting my spells faster? Yes, please, dude. That is so good. Like, we don't always have a big window to get them in. And I don't exactly trust in criticals. What the fuck? Yes, rocks are falling. I get it. Why does this look like a nice door shape? Any indication of what this does before I go pushing buttons?
Something's not right here. Take a look around.
Oh. Yeah, that's not good news. What is this? Coffins. Someone's been disposing of bodies. On the Binding of Souls, was our good fellow taking people's souls and binding them to his statue? Margins of this text are scrolled with notes and references. The ink-stained pages appear to have seen much use in earlier times. And yes, I saw the journal, and I will get to it in a moment. Removal and transference of souls is practice both ancient and sophisticated. There is evidence that the Engwithans were particularly adept at this, yet few details have survived them. Someone's called Annals of the Pargrunan, pages 382 to 6. Below this paragraph, what is known is that the removal of a soul is a difficult process, one that requires an expert hand and precise tools for any chance of success. Early attempts... Oh, are we good? Are we good? Alright. Early attempts of most of the subjects with maimed or fractured souls, in all but 2 of the 11 instances where the soul was successfully removed, the essence dissipated before scholars could capture it. Oh, I see. I bumped my controller and it went to controller controls. The words "transfer to holding vessel" are written and underlined in the margin. The process requires conductive materials, copper and adra specifically. Immersion in water is important to ensure the soul is drawn in a steady and uniform manner, with no distortions or breakages. A warped soul is, at best, useless and at worst, unpredictable. Arrow points from this paragraph to a scrunched note. Extraction pool in CR18. Yeah, I feel like almost certainly Mr. fucking Golden Man wrote this. Is the one like making notes on this. He might have got this book elsewhere. But he's probably the one writing in notes because it matches his language translation shit, right? His the tendencies he had there. Extraction pool in CR 18 foot wide by 3 foot deep. We have since mastered the process of soul transference. I've seen the benefits of infusing forged work with the essence of animals and wilder. What remains to be seen is whether we might see greater gains from using the souls of Kith, where we would procure the appropriate subjects, and how much personality and autonomy we would want to leave intact in such cases. A string of notes winds around below this paragraph, beginning with criminals, prisoners of war volunteers, ending with forge guardians. In black letters. These notes are crossed out, and below them is written, but what of the divine soul? Oh! Is that tied to the disappearance of Godless? Right. New orders. Alright. New orders came down from Dayron today. We're to be sent to the Living Lands. The Diplomatic Corps has established an embassy in the port city of Paradis, and they need support cataloging the unusual ruins there. No doubt it will take months, perhaps a year or two at the very least. Hi, kitty. I promised Rudween I'd be in High Crown to celebrate Anestu with him and the children, especially since it'll be Miri's coming of age, but how often are you given the opportunity to lay the foundation of study for a previously undiscovered ancient culture? I'm sure he'll understand, and Miri, well, I think my daughter will be glad I'm gone. It's not like the gods are making new continents. The world is getting smaller every day. It always seems as though the moment I finally get my sea legs for pulling into harbor, and a charming harbor it is, despite what Dayron told me. Not nearly so dangerous as the clerks in High Crown warned. Are you sure? There were rocks fucking everywhere, man. I don't know how you get in. Swear on the Queen, half my countrymen resent any city that isn't the Emperor's purely on principle. There was a letter waiting for me when I arrived at the embassy. I suppose Rudwin sent it before I left. Cowards filed for dissolution of our marriage, but he couldn't muster the stones to tell me to my face. Let him assume it never arrived, for I certainly won't dignify it with a reply. This whole episode has given me a blinding headache and a horrible pinching sensation right behind the eyes. Or maybe some horrible disease have done that to you. We've had a few days to settle into life at the embassy, while the powers that be argue about how to best to make use of us. While I was resting, the ambassador's clerk took the scouts to some dreadful little swill house in a rough part of town. Naturally, a couple of the younger lads poisoned themselves with alcohol. The mother in me wants to be furious, but I can hardly muster the energy. As long as Ofryc's avoiding his stomach in the canals and instead of the bunkhouse, it's not my business after all. I think I'll take the team to Fort Northreach, see if we can't help their archivist identify the purpose of the godless ruins there. Blessed New Year. The team acquitted themselves well at the fort. With Caedmon's help, I was able to get down into the basement of the ruins there and take a good look at the construction. Naturally, I left the notes I took on the fort. I feel like I can hardly even think these days. But I believe I remember enough of what I learned to write a satisfactory report for the ambassador. Could those ruins have been the site of a fertility temple? I mean, goodness, look at the shape of their buildings. Steel Garrote, Inquisitor attached to the embassy, has uncovered rumor of a holy relic in a cave here in Donshorn. She suggested we might want to investigate. I know I should be eager to get down there to explore, but I've hardly been able to get out of my petrol since we've returned to Paradis. I'll bet there's a curse tablet with my name on it that Rudwin's installed at the Temple of Skane back in High Crown. Nothing else could explain the hideous nightmares I've been having. Mushrooms erupting from my skin, my eyes replaced by quivering stalks, Miri turning into a tree, Rudwin splitting in half and opening like a flower. No matter what drug I take or to which god I pray, they refuse to go away. I collapsed while we were gearing up in the market. None of the merchants would help me off the ground. One of them muttered something about a soul plague and ran off to tell his mates. I tried to tell the man I wasn't sick, just going through a divorce, but I couldn't speak. It was like my tongue had turned to mud. Inquisitor pulled me aside when the boys got me back to the embassy. She was able to press the locals for more about the relic. Apparently it was taken from Aothus's Titan skeleton, the very one I made my reputation discovering. It's well known for its ability to heal anyone who holds it. I cannot delay any longer. I must find it.
Well, we found the expedition.
Doesn't appear there's any signs of her being a god, like godlike. And that explains that. So, who was doing this is the big question. The first thought is Goldskin Man, but it's entirely possible it wasn't him. What is singing to me? There you are. This operation has been going on a long time. Goldskin Man is very fucking old. So, certainly could be him and his Titan. I mean, they were talking about him working on animancy in one of his notes. What does this look like now? I thought I could climb up there.
Aye, aye.
Alright, nothing up there worth caring about, it seems. And yes, blocked off. Alright. Well, my curiosity is satisfied. Seems we're not getting back into the other barred door. First barred door we passed, we found that. See you later, big dude. Alright, well, that little side quest was a lot bigger than I was expecting. Holy shit. I think I spent like an hour just reading. So much information. Let's see where we end up from this elevator. This was a very combat-heavy episode. There was not a lot of combat in a lot of the earlier episodes. It was like, you know, occasionally we have an encounter and maybe it takes me a few tries, but like, overall, the like combat to not combat ratio was pretty heavily skewed in the direction of not combat. But we had some good old, and I feel like that's the case here too, especially when we're spending like an hour fucking talking, but like, we had some real combat, you know? Like, that felt... I was using several of my tools. I think the game really would like me to camp.
The Oracle might have been a creepy, murdering Korba, but he sure kept a nice home.
Guess his work on that statue didn't leave much time for renovations.
How do I live if there is no consolation? When he left the world, I was emptied of divinity. I am a slave now to desire for it. I am unmoored from space and time. I am a body persisting until it is gone. Nothing. Is that what he wanted me to become? Yeah, this guy was pretty fucked in the head. I can only imagine how complicated his long life was. Look at all this fruit. And the vegetables. Smiley's book bears a stamp designating it as part of the restricted collection of the Halls Obscure. It appears to have been stolen. Every page is filled with closely packed writing and illustrations. One passage reads, Saint Widewind pursed his lips and stared down the glowering visage which peered at him between stalks of warlaws. Gripped the wooden shaft of his scythe, slick with sweat from his palms, the hands of a working man, which he was. Then you're Aothas then, he said. That I am, said the god. Then you already know what I want, said the farmer, who was Widewind. That I do. Widewind unknotted the taut cord which restrained his ponytail and let the flowing, flowering locks cascade around his shoulders and rest over the shelf of his bosom. He winked and cleared his throat before winking again. I've got a candle hasn't been lit properly. Aothas moved closer. Passage cuts off abruptly with a series of jagged notes pressed deeply into the parchment. Aora is not ready for this. Yeah, that's very fucking weird. Anyway, when Farmer became God. At the mention of the name Widewind, most folk think of only one word, Godhammer. While this event echoes through the ages and is still felt years after the destruction of Evandur Bridge, Widewind's humble beginnings belie the powerful force he would grow into. Widewind lived an unassuming life in a remote area of Radsaris, son of voyless farmers. He toiled in the fields alongside his father for 22 years until his father's death. The farm then fell to him to run. He considered selling, had no other skills upon which to draw, so he set on the path of voyless farmer as well. Nothing of note was recorded in Widewind's life until 4 years after his father's death. One day while working in the fields, Widewind's life was irrevocably changed. In his words, night was falling, the fingers of dusk already gripping the sky, the sun had dipped beyond the world's edge, and stars were peeking from behind the shroud. The day was still, and darkness had blanketed the field. I placed my last harvest of the day into the collection pile, when from behind me arose a brilliant light. I turned, fear in my breast, knowing not what could have caused such intense radiance. Behind me stood a blazing figure, resplendent in glory. Its white flesh glowed with luminescent radiance, its head a blinding ball of light, brighter than the highest sun of mid-year. I averted my gaze, afraid I would be struck down for daring to gaze upon such a creature. A sudden peace washed over me, sweeping away my fear, leaving my troubled soul tranquil. A loving warmth wrapped its arms around me. A voice spoke to me as I stood, transfixed, trying to both see this glorious being and avoid its dazzling scrutiny. Fear not, it said to me, for you are chosen above all others. You will be the light to bring about the rebirth of an empire. It then held out its hand and bestowed upon me a vision of power, such that I could scarcely contain it. Widewind, disheveled and dirty, stumbled into his village the next morning, telling all who would listen about the miracle that happened in his fields. Aothas himself, he claimed, had appeared to him. He was to punish the Adarian governor for leading his people into ruin. A way would be provided, and those faithful who helped would be blessed when the divinity manifested. Villagers ignored him, convinced the loss of his parents had broken his mind. But Widewind continued to preach of the power of Aethys and the corruption of the governor, eventually earning him the ire of the locals. His confrontations with the villagers hit a turning point one day in mid-autumn. A crowd had gathered around Widewind, jeering him and telling him to leave the village. The woodless crop that season was particularly light, and the villagers blamed Widewind, saying he had angered the gods, particularly Aethys, with his blasphemy. They backed him into one of the withered fields, yelling at him to go. Accounts of the inciting action are hazy. Some say a stone was thrown, others say he was pushed, others still say he simply tripped over a dry root sticking from the ground. Regardless of the cause, Widewind landed face down on the ground, the villagers standing over him laughing. Enough! A voice not Widewind's boomed across the field. Widewind looked up at the crowd, his eyes glowing with a blinding white light. He stood, but did not stand. One moment he was on the ground, and the next he was standing before the crowd, who cowered before him. "You dare deny me?" the voice spoke through Widewind's mouth. "You dare refuse my servant?" Widewind's arms raised, beginning to luminesce. "You dare require proof?" His arms went out to his sides. "Never ask again, lest you be burned in the light of the new dawn." There was a flash of light from Widewind's eyes and hands, and the entire field sprang to life. The once dried and brittle plants became full, lush, and verdant. The crowd was silent. From somewhere in the back came a call of "Praise Aethys!" and then they all fell to their knees in front of Widewind. Farmer turned to God. I feel like this man is very jealous of Widewind. Was very jealous of Widewind.
Never thought I'd be so relieved to see Paradise.
Well, that was certainly an experience of some kind. Let's go catch up with Ofryc. Defend!
Ow, fucking pissed.
Seal as meat.
That's one for us.
Well, I thought this was going to be a side thing and then we were going to take on that bounty, but honestly, I think we're kind of out of time. Still might go to that bounty afterwards. We'll have to see what's around us. But I think that's a good place. Yeah, it's a good place to stop, right? Yeah. Alright, well thanks for joining me. This was very cool. I liked the golden man with the glowing eyes. I also liked the really cool flaming sword he dropped when I murdered him. I wonder if we would have had a boss fight against the big thing if I hadn't fucking noticed what was going on. Honestly, hilariously, the note of "he is very old" was incredibly important, because I feel like if you don't focus on that information from the brother or whatever of "he is very fucking old," a lot of that stuff might not make sense. You'd be like, who was doing this? Who was doing all that? He was! He's been there for literally hundreds of years. All of the ancient shit there, him. Anyways, that's it for me for now. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for enjoying this. Thank you for visiting my channel. And have a good day, night, Whatever. Wherever.